All right. So what we're going to be doing here, guys, is, like we said the other day, you're going to be researching a plant species of your choice, okay? But you are looking at it from this perspective. We are looking for growth patterns and special adaptations that your plant may have that allow it to compete and survive in its native environment. Okay, so that means you're going to have to include things like a description of its native environment. What kind of, let's say, conditions is it going to be exposed to? Hardships will it have to endure? Okay, periodic disturbances that may be part of its environment, things like that. All the factors that we talked about that affect plant growth, essentially you need to identify and describe those, right, so that we know what kind of things your plant is going to have to endure. All right, then you can go on to talking about how the plant itself adapts and deals with those particular conditions. All right, so it'll include a plant's, like we said, description of native environment, condition it has to deal with, and that'll lead to a detailed description of how your plant grows, adapts, and deals with those conditions. Look at any tropisms it may employ. Okay, if your plant is a crawler, all right, well then it's stigmotropism, okay, and you'll need to talk a little bit about that. Obviously, most plants will exhibit geo and phototropism to some extent. Just talk about them briefly, how it does that. Okay, how it distributes its roots. Fibrous, tap roots, okay, are they close to the surface, deep in the ground, stuff like that. Okay, it's how does it distribute its leaves? What is the structure of its leaves? Okay, not all leaves look the same. I mean, we got how many different types of leaves in this classroom, right? We got the big kind of frond-like leaves. We got the, kind of needle-like leaves there. We got, again, palm tree-like things. Okay, regular kind of spade-shaped leaves. What shape of leaves does yours have? How are they adapted? Thick cuticle, thin cuticle, okay, all that kind of stuff. All right. How it competes with other plants in its environment. Okay. Some plants have adaptations that allow them to compete better than others, like we talked about the spruce tree, okay, and how its needles create an acidic condition underneath it that prevents other things from growing. Maybe your tree just shades other things out. Maybe it reaches out and strangles other plants. There is something called a strangler fig, okay, out there that actually physically wraps stuff around other plants and essentially puts them in a chokehold. Okay, obviously it can't suffocate them, but right, things like that. All right. If your plant has any other special adaptations that prevent it from being eaten, that would be important, okay? Being able to survive predation by herbivorous organisms would be an important thing that your plant might do. Maybe it's covered in thorns. Maybe it's poisonous, okay? Who knows? All right. So describe all of those. All right. The outline. So you need to report on the structure of your plant. Is it a flowering plant? Okay. So flowering plant, conifer, moss, etc. Okay. Grass. What is it? You got to tell me that. Plants can be classified into certain groups. Conifers, in case you don't know what the term conifer means, are any plants that produce cones, okay, as their reproductive organ. Flowers are the reproductive organs, okay, of the angiosperms, or the flowering plants, okay. The gymnosperms are the coniferous plants, okay, things like that. You've got your mosses and you've got your grasses, okay, things of that nature. Tell me what kind of plant it is, okay. What are its specific needs in terms of light, water, soil, and nutrients? Is this a plant that is, very nutrient dependent? Okay, if you're looking at like something like canola, okay, canola is very, very nutrient dependent, whereas something like a cactus is less so. Describe the conditions your plant must be able to survive. We already talked about this. Okay, use your knowledge of plant structure, growth, and development to illustrate how your plant species is unique and how it is adaptive. So here's kind of an apply your knowledge type of thing here that you're going to have to do. Okay, in terms of growth, development, and life cycle, okay, you're also going to want to talk about its life cycle. How long does it take maybe for it to go from a seed to a sapling to a mature plant? Okay, describe how your plant, if your plant is an annual, a perennial, evergreen, deciduous, okay, those kind of things. If you're looking at the coniferous trees, okay, coniferous trees generally do not lose their leaves because their leaves are needles. There are exceptions. Tamarack and larch are deciduous coniferous trees, okay, and they actually do lose their needles every year, right? So there's some kind of strange ones out there that you might be interested in. Okay, environmental influences. Describe how the conditions in the plant's environment affect its tissues. Are there parasitic organisms that attempt to infect that species? How does it resist or fight those infections? Is fire, flooding, drought, freezing, etc. a concern? How does your plant species adapt or survive to reproduce after such an event? Okay, visual aids. You must have pictures in this. Okay, there must, absolutely must be pictures in this thing. Okay. Graphs and charts of growth, if you can find them, are great. I don't know if you're going to find those necessarily. Okay, if you want to put video clips in, if you can locate them, that's fine. Remember, guys, this was the part that people didn't do well the last time. Citing the references. Okay, same format as before. Okay, if you're using a website, author's name, okay, date the article was posted, name of the website, sorry, name of the article, name of the website, okay, the URL, and the day you accessed it. All right, everyone follow me there. Hopefully that's not 1995. It has to be in that order. Yeah. Okay. If you use a book, then it's author's name, okay, title of the book, or if it's a magazine, title of the article, okay, then the name of the magazine, volume number, and publishing year, and any pages that you use. Okay. Remember to do that. That's 5 of the 25 marks, okay, is your bibliography. So make sure you do it right. All right. Do you also have to planning? Yes, that was the other place where people lost marks last time. What am I looking for in planning? I'm looking for outline, timeline, okay, thought web. Outline, timeline, thought web. All right, something along those lines. Your thought web, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a web. You just have to have something that shows you thought about how you were going to lay out your ideas, what ideas you were going to examine, okay, how they were related, things like that. Okay, so, you know, slide 1 or paragraph 1, talk about this. Slide 2, paragraph 2, talk about this. Okay, here's the ideas. So for your web, here's the ideas I want to investigate. Here's how they're tied together. And then your timeline. Today I'm working on it. Tomorrow I'm working on it. I'm not going to work on it on Sunday. Whatever. Okay, everyone follow. All right, so that's 5 marks. Format, okay, you can do the Google Slides if you want. I just have to put it on Google Classroom here. It'll take me 2 minutes. And then, so you could do the slides, you could do the Google Docs, just do an essay. There'll be one or the other. Both of them will be on there. You just choose which one you're going to do. All right. And then in a couple of weeks it'll be due here. Okay, so scope needs to be between 1,200 and 1,600 words. Okay, to give you an idea, in 12-point fonts, 1-inch margins, single spaced, that's about 2 pages. All right, so it's not a terribly large. Most of you, your toxin project was that long. Okay, because we said it had to be between 800 and 1,000, and most people had it around 1,200. This needs to be just a little bit longer, 12 to 1,600. Okay, in order to cover everything. So you'd be marked in initiating and planning, okay, your analysis and interpretation, your communication. All right, so communication has to do with when I'm reading it, can I understand it? All right, does it make sense? Does it sound like you wrote it? That's really important. It does need to sound like you wrote it, because if I suspect you didn't, obviously that won't go well for you. Okay, research and investigation, so your bibliography, and then overall, okay, the overall impression your project makes. Okay, same as the last time. Questions on that? All right. Now, due date for this, we're going to look at, let's say, 2 weeks from today. So that would be November 13th, I think. Okay, we'll double check that. Okay, so November 14th, which is a Friday. Okay. Okay, we're going to get a date that works. It's the 17th now. Okay, November 17th. That's a Monday. So if your parents come to interviews on the 13th and you're not done this, you'll probably be doing it that weekend, so don't leave it till then. Okay, do a little bit each day and get it done.